It's all about them. So I want to be good listeners and be thinking of questions you may have. And so Jordan's going to speak first about what it's like to go to school at that school in New Hampshire, and then Mark's going to talk about the mission trip to Mexico. Okay? Take it away, Mr. Jordan.
Well, as I said, my name is Jordan Derry. I am a freshman in high school. And Mark and I came to speak to you about two things. As he said, I will be speaking to you about how I came to the school and how it's affected my life. And then he will be speaking about the Mexico trip. So I was born in Jacksonville, Florida. I'm 9th grade. And growing up, I was surrounded by a very Catholic family. You know, we prayed the rosary every week. I altar served, part of many Catholic clubs, Conquest CCYD. And it all helped me in my spiritual formation very well. But the one problem which I faced, which I'm sure many of you have faced also, is that the faith isn't something which is very personal, not something which affects you very much, you know? It almost feels boring. But this all started to change in February 2010, when a priest who was part of the order called the Legionaries of Christ. It's an order, a missionary order, founded in the 1940s by Mexicans. Well, this priest invited me, my brother, and my dad to a minor seminary in Center Harbor, New Hampshire. This seminary consists of boys from 7th to 12th grade who are considering the priesthood. So when I visited the school, I did a lot of fun things: basketball, soccer, hockey, skiing, you name it. Also, we had a lot of spiritual information, rosary, mass, meditation. But there are two things I noticed about these boys when I visited. The first was the exact opposite of my problem. The faith to them was something personal, and they lived it. You can see it in the charity with which they dealt with one another. You can see it in their respect towards others. You can see it in their love for one another. Their faith was something personal. The second thing which I noticed was that even though they had sacrificed so much, their families, their friends, their video games and all that, they were still so happy. If you looked at every single one of those boys' eyes, there was a twinkle in his eye because he was happy. And I wanted that. So that planted the seed in my heart. So a few months went by, things went back to normal. But the real big change came when he entered the seminary. And this was a big shock for me because we had grown up together, we lived in the same room, bunk bed, you know, that whole thing. But suddenly it was all different. So it was a very big change for me. But months went by and I kind of got used to it. But the big journey for me towards that school happened in Christmas. I remember sitting in the back of the chapel of the school and just looking at all the students during the homily and just thinking, wow, I want to do that. I want to be like them. I want to be that happy. So months went by and my zeal kind of started to die down a little bit. But as always, God has a plan, and He has a way of picking us back up again. So His way of doing it this time was through my sister, who had recently been growing a lot in her faith, and she invited me to adoration. And at first, I didn't really want to go. I was like, no, please don't make me do this. But she eventually convinced me, and I went. And I can't really explain what happened in that adoration. I was there for an hour, and I came out crying. Because I felt God's call in my life, and it wasn't just a broad call. He didn't just look at the globe and say, I call all of you to this. No, He looked right at me and said, I'm calling you specifically to do this. He does that in all of our lives. He doesn't just look at the whole group. He calls every single one of you individually. And so that was a turning point for me, and that's why I decided to enter. So you may wonder what we do at a minor seminary. We definitely have a lot of intense sports: soccer, basketball, dodgeball, softball, skiing, hockey, tons of things. We hike every week, which is a very big difference for me because in Florida it's all flat, and then New Hampshire you got mountains everywhere and we're hiking them, so it's amazing. We have time for work and we have time for prayer, and that is very, very, very
And school.
emphasized.
And school.
Oh, and also and as with not only education, they rated the highest academic in all of New England for its grade level. And then finally, I've been at the school for 3 years, and I can say without a doubt they've been the happiest years of my life. And this is because God has a plan for each of us, and whenever we follow that plan, then we'll be the happiest people we can possibly be. And so Mark and I want to be happy, and so we follow God's will, and that we're happy. It's that simple. So I ask for all you to pray for me, and I'll keep you all in my prayers and plan off for Mark. So,
as my brother said, my name is Marcus. I go to the same school that he does in Center Harbor, New Hampshire, which is called ICUS. It's an acronym for Immaculate Conception Apostolic School. I've been there for 4 years now, so I'm a senior in high school. And one of the things that we, older people like juniors and seniors in high school, one of the things that we do is mission work. So this year in January, we are going to travel from Center Harbor, New Hampshire, which is around this area, and fly all the way down to Mexico City. And from there, we're going to drive 4.5 hours southeast to a state called Veracruz. And from there, we're going to climb up a mountain. And on the top of that mountain is a town called Metlac. And the area there is very, very poor. The people there are descendants from Huastecs, not Aztecs, Huastecs and Olmecs. And yeah, the area there is very hot. And the people there are very, very poor. The electricity is not the same as ours. In order for them to generate light, basically what they have to do is put these two wires, these bare wires into each other in order to generate light. And so what our main mission is to do is to insert light switches for them in order to make light easier for them to access. So basically with that being said, when we do that, at the same time, we're going to try to interact a lot with the families and try to form good relationships with them. And then towards the evening, we're going to organize games for the kids of the town, as well as organize different classes for catechism and all these different spiritual classes for them to grow in their faith. And hopefully we can do it in Spanish, if our Spanish is good enough then. But so after that, it's going to be around dinner time. And that's when all the missionaries go back to their tents and basically share their experiences with each other in order to cultivate a deeper relationship with Christ, as well as better friendship with each other. And as an added bonus to this trip, we are going to visit the shrine of Our Lady of Guadalupe. And I heard that Mrs. Constantino came and shared with you about the story of Our Lady of Guadalupe, and how she appeared to Juan Diego and she appeared on the Tilma and everything like that. So it's going to be a great chance for all the missionaries to visit that site and study the Tilma. And with that being said, I hope you guys all enjoyed this. I thank you for your time, and I ask for your prayers. And as well for your prayers, if you have any prayer intentions or prayer requests, you can write them down on a little piece of paper. And maybe what you could do is give them to your teacher, who in return can give them to me. And when I visit the shrine of Our Lady of Guadalupe, I can entrust those prayer requests into the hands of Mary, and she can take care of us. And she can take care of those prayer intentions. So, again, I thank you for your time, and are there any questions that you have concerning the trip?